Now we are going to discuss structures in C language. Now before going to the structures, we need to know the definition of array. Now what is mean by array? Array is nothing but A is a variable A of 10. That means that this A is a variable which is used to store the values of 10. That means 10 values would be stored in a variable called A. That is nothing but array means what? Array is collection of elements to be stored in a single variable is called as array. If we declare int a of 10, that means A is an integer variable that can hold 10 integer values. That means what is here? A can store only 10 values of the integer type only. Here in this allocation of memory, for example, A of 0 is represented as first element, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3 and so of A of 9 are represented as 10th element. In the memory allocation, all the values of the single variable of array are stored adjacently only. Consider A of 0 is stored here. Then the next element would be A of 1. Then the next element would be A of 2. Then the next element would be A of 3, A of 4, A of 5 and so on. That means continuous allocation of memory is done in arrays. Right? Now come back to your structures. In arrays, all the elements are stored in adjacent memory locations. Right? Here in the structure also continuous memory allocation is there. What is that? Continuous memory allocation is there in structures. But one difference is there between arrays and structure, that is arrays are used to store homogeneous type of data. Right? Arrays are used to store homogeneous type of data, whereas structures are used to store heterogeneous type of data. What is meant by heterogeneous? Heterogeneous is nothing but different types of data is stored in a structure. Now conclusion. Here integer A means what? A is of a variable int that holds only 10 values of integer type. But structure is a user defined data type. Here structure is what? User defined data type. But here integer is what? Predefined data type. That means arrays can be declared as a predefined data types only. But whereas structure is a user defined data type. That means in structure we can store integer variables and float variables and character variables and double variables. All this type of data would be stored in a single variable, that too continuously, is called as a structure. Right? Now I am declaring the structure. That means syntax of the structure. Now here we use a keyword called struct, struct, struct. Here structure name. Now here followed by different types of data types and the structure is closed and that to be end with the semicolon. Now we see example of structure. Now I am creating a structure of student, struct student. Now what the student will have? Student will have roll number, character as name, float as average marks, and I am closing the structure. Now declaring a structure variable. Structure name and structure variable. Example struct stud s. Now this definition will be written in the function of main, so that this s is a variable of structure type. Now in this variable we can store rule number, name and marks. All together we store in a single variable s. That means a structure is a variable which is used to store different types of data in a single variable, whereas array is used to store same type of data in a single variable. This is a major difference between structure and array. Now we see the program of the structure. Struct student, integer number, character name, float, average marks, and I am closing the structure. Now void main, struct student s. That means here s is a structure variable of student type, whereas integer a is of 10. That means what? A is a type of integer that can hold 10 values. Here S is a type of structure variable of student type. This can store these three type of data. Now printf enter student number, name and marks. Whatever the details is entered, what is of integer type, name is of character type, average marks of float type. Now in normally if you are using variables, we write number, name, marks, but this number is of structure type, so we should give the structure variable with the dot operator, s.no, s.name, s.average. Now whatever the details are entered by the user, just with the help of these three printf statements, I am printing the number, name and marks with the help of the structure variable. That means these variables will be accessed in the main function with the help of the structure variable only. Now I am going to explain the concept of union. So union also same like as a structure. What will run with the structure? Heterogeneous type of data is stored in a single variable is called as a structure. Same manner, union is also used to store heterogeneous type of data only. But what is the difference? Now first of all we will see similarities. As we see the union name, different types of data types, and union is closed here. Now how will declare a union variable? Declare union variable, union name, union variable. Here also this statement will be declared in the main function only, as we have seen in the structure. Now we find the similarities. See here, structure name, different types of data types. As similarly here also union name, different types of data types. Here we are declaring the union variable. Similarly we are declaring structure name and the structure variable. Now what is the difference? First we'll understand. Here I am giving an example of union stud. Okay, now I am opening this. Integer A, float B, and I am closing this. In union, integer takes 2 bytes, float takes 4 bytes of memory normally. In structures, totally to declare these two variables, structure stud integer A, float B. Now in structure it takes 2 bytes, it takes 4 bytes. right? Now union structure looks similarly, but in union variable will be take care maximum memory. That means now 2 4 there. Now union will allocate 4 bytes of memory for each variable. That means for integer also it takes 4 bytes of memory. For b also, that means for float also it takes 4 bytes of memory. Whereas in structure, a takes 2 bytes, b takes 4 bytes. Different variables takes different types of memory allocations in structure. But whereas in union, maximum allocation of the variable bytes is allocated for each and every variable. That is a major difference between union and structure.